Welcome to today's Explainer. I am so excited to dive into this one with you because we're looking at something that affects literally every single one of us every single day. We're talking about the hidden neurological costs of our constant digital habits. Look, we all know technology is a massive part of our lives, right? But today, we're going to break down exactly how distraction is actively rewiring your brain and impacting your emotional well-being. So let's just get right into it. Be honest with yourself for a second. Have you ever unlocked your phone meaning to send just one quick reply, only to look up and realize, wow, 40 minutes have completely vanished? You went in for a 5-second task, and almost an hour just disappeared into thin air. We have all been there. It's this universal, modern experience. But honestly, it's also a massive red flag showing us just how much our attention is being hijacked. The reality is, we live in a world that practically never gives us permission to just stop. Think about your average morning. The day kicks off with this absolute flood of notifications, urgent deadlines, and a literal infinite stream of content fighting for your eyeballs. Before you even know it, hours have flown by. We're doom scrolling, firing off rapid replies, and just running on autopilot. But in the middle of all that frantic movement, we almost never hit the brakes to ask a very basic question. Hey, how am I actually doing right now? Which brings us to part 1, the distraction trap, running from stillness. Okay, let's dive into this. The truth is, when we feel overwhelmed by this crazy pace of life, our gut reaction is to hunt for a quick fix, like some shiny new productivity hack. But tech has actually handed us the ultimate escape hatch from deeply human feelings. Things like loneliness, sadness, boredom, uncertainty, and anxiety. These are moments of real, genuine discomfort. And what's our modern instinct the very split second one of those feelings creeps in? Yep, we reach for our phones. We use digital distraction to just sprint in the opposite direction of our own inner stillness. Let's move to the next slide and see how this builds, because it creates a really predictable dopamine loop. Step 1, you get that flash of discomfort or boredom. Step 2, boom, the instinctive phone reach. Step 3, within seconds, your attention is sucked into this endless loop of novelty. Maybe it's a notification or a quick short-form video. And finally, step 4, your brain gets a little hit of dopamine. For a brief second, you're entertained. You feel relieved. But here is the absolute critical takeaway here. That relief, it is completely temporary. The sadness, the anxiety, the loneliness you were trying to dodge, they didn't go anywhere. They're literally just sitting there waiting for you to put the phone back down. And that constant cycle leads us right into part 2, the psychological cost, understanding emotional numbness. Over time, this never-ending fire hose of digital stimulation actively chips away at our ability to just sit still. Silence starts to feel weirdly uncomfortable, right? And because we can't handle the quiet, we keep hunting for the next thing to watch or read. Eventually, we go way past just being distracted. We become deeply disconnected from ourselves. So the crucial point is, how does this disconnection actually show up? Over time, it morphs into emotional numbness. Now, contrary to what a lot of people think, numbness is not the absence of emotion. It's actually this highly evolved psychological survival response. It's basically your mind flipping the circuit breaker to protect you when stress gets too overwhelming, too frequent, or just too painful to process. Your brain is essentially just trying to keep you safe from a total system overload. If this is resonating with you right now, I really need you to hear this. You are not broken. Some people experience this numbness by noticing that things that used to bring them immense joy suddenly just feel flat. Or maybe you see someone going through a terrible time, and intellectually you know it's a tragedy, but physically and emotionally, you just feel totally detached. Whether you're living with this numbness without fully realizing it, or you are painfully aware of it and wondering why you can't feel the way you used to, both of those experiences are completely valid. It absolutely does not mean you're broken. It just means your emotional system is waving a massive red flag, begging for your attention. Which brings us to the solution in part 3, the power of pausing, rebuilding connection. But I do need to offer a bit of a warning here, based on the research. When we finally do hit pause, it isn't always peaceful. It's definitely not always comfortable. Sometimes, when we force ourselves to sit in the quiet, we smack right into the exact emotions we've spent months, maybe even years, running away from. We meet our grief, our fear, our confusion face to face. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the contrast in how we talk to ourselves in those moments. Emotional awareness is a muscle you have to build. When we feel bad, our default is usually to ask, ugh, why am I like this? Or how do I fix this right now? We treat our emotions like a broken engine. But to rebuild that connection to yourself, you've got to shift that mindset. You start by asking one very simple mindful question. What is present right here, right now? It's just a simple acknowledgement of what's actually happening, completely free of judgment. And that right there is the absolute core of true mindfulness. It is definitely not about forcing yourself to stay positive 24/7. It's not about trying to engineer some perfect happy mood. It's really just about becoming present enough to notice what's happening inside of you without immediately trying to escape through your screen. Healing doesn't always mean you have to do more. A lot of the time, true healing starts by just stopping. Think about it. The most important conversation you're going to have today, it's not with your boss or a client or your followers online. It's the conversation you finally allow yourself to have with your own mind and heart. And this brilliantly illustrates our ultimate takeaway for today's explainer. It's simple, but man, is it profound. Your emotions are not problems to eliminate, they are messages to understand. They might have just been waiting for this exact moment of stillness all along. So, before you mindlessly jump to the next post, or before you open yet another tab on your browser or rush frantically into the next task on your to-do list, just pause, take a breath, listen to the message. To wrap up today's explainer, I really want to turn this over to you. Reclaiming your time and your attention, it's a daily practice, and we can all definitely learn from each other's strategies. So I'll leave you with this question. How do you intentionally build pauses into your work week to prevent digital fatigue? Are you taking tech-free walks? Do you physically block out time on your calendar just to sit and think? Let's share notes in the comments below. I'd love to see what's working for you. Take a moment of real stillness for yourself today, and I look forward to exploring our next topic with you very soon. Keep learning and keep pausing.